what would you do this year differently to keep it sustainable?
Okay, so obviously sponsorship has been a major issue with Bass from past years. So I think like this year, what I would like to do personally is when we do send out our sponsorship packages, I think we need to personalize them. I think it's more of just, like a mass email. It should be that we should be making the connection with the sponsor personally first, trying to connect with them, and then sending the sponsorship package. This way I hope that we get better results, and that's how I plan to make it sustainable.
What are your thoughts on the ERC and centralized sponsorship?
Okay, so obviously lots of schools do use centralized sponsorship, and it's a good idea for them. They have big student societies, and they allocate their funds accordingly. I think in the position that Bass is right now, that strategy wouldn't work. What's the advantage to a club like ASA who gets their sponsorship from the big four firms? How are they going to benefit from Bass allocating their resources? I think as of right now, Bass needs to focus on strengthening themselves, and then we can look to sort of strengthen the clubs outside of us.
Part 2, you mentioned you work for TD. Do you hope to make TD a sponsor for us?
Obviously, TD is a big corporation. To be honest, it would be hard to reach out like them on something like that. I'm not even sure who I'd contact, but it's something that we could look into for sure. I know TD is actively involved in school things. They do, all the big banks actually are. They do sponsor schools. They run events. They run lots of innovation events. It's sort of more their branding and their sponsorship. For TD to come in and brand SFU, which is probably something like a company like TD would be looking to do, would be brand Bass. I don't really see it happening, but it is an option that we could exercise.
Next, we have this. All right. So you mentioned that a big part of VP external operations is maintaining those relationships with corporations and getting sponsorship and all that. So I'm going to give you another a pitch question, just like Johnny and Jensen. Let's say if I was a private business in Burnaby or Vancouver or Surrey, and you were approaching me to get sponsorship for Bass, how would you pitch Bass, and how would you explain Bass to them, and what would the benefit of me as a business owner be to sponsor Bass?
Okay, so first of all, with sponsorship, obviously it's a two-way street. We're looking for money, and we have to communicate to them how they are going to benefit. So what I do basically is I explain to them they're investing in the students. They need to make this investment in us so that we can better ourselves as students and grow as tomorrow's future leaders. With the sponsor investing in us, I would tell him that he would have access to these students. He would come to, their business would come to our networking events, and they would have the chance to mingle, because all businesses are looking for top students, and what better place to get them would be at a Bass networking event. So that's sort of the route I would take.
That's another part to it. And also, this is just a realistic situation. All right, say if CUS went to the same person, and then we were competing in CUS for that sponsorship, how would you convince them to support Bass instead of CUS? And CUS is Commerce on the Society.
Yeah, obviously UBC